Hi, I'm Colleen.
And I'm Kate. Welcome to our CrafterNoon adventures. Today's craft is called Roses and Lilies. It is made out of book pages. We have an exemplar over here, so we have two lily callas, or calla lilies, that's what they're called, and a rose in the middle. And this is actually a 3D printed vase. So what you'll need for this craft is a hot glue gun, some extra glue sticks, a book that you no longer want to read, 2 of those fuzzy pipe cleaners, 1 for each flower, scissors, and a pencil. So let's get started. We're going to start with a lily, and what you'll need is a couple of pages, so you're going to rip those out as close to the spine as possible. It's okay if they're not perfect. Alright, so you've got 2 pages here. On one of them you're going to want to cut off the margin all around the page. So let's do that now. Now on this sheet, which we did not cut apart, we're going to make the shape of a lily. So we're going to have kind of a long top here, and then it's going to go out. And I only go to the edges of the text. And then we're going to go and add a circle there. So it's about that shape. Maybe you want it to be a little longer up here so you get all of the text included. I'll erase that middle line here. And then you're going to cut around what you've just designed. The next thing I like to do is pinch where the center is, so that I know where the center is, and I'm going to be pinching as I shape this. So the next thing is to curl around the lip of the lily, and this is pretty finicky and it takes a little time, so take your time on this part because you're really just shaping the page. I would say it's about like an inch, and it's going to start kind of big on the outside, and then as you go up toward the top, it's going to get a little thinner. Each lip is going to get a little thinner. And you can kind of start on this side too. So you're giving it that nice crisp edge that we have on these other lilies. And I just am kind of taking my middle finger and my index finger and pressing to give it that shape. Now here it's going to fight you a little bit. And you're just going to keep coaxing it along. Maybe switch hands if that helps. And then up here, you're making a kind of triangle shape. So you'll press here, and then, yeah, you want to make that triangle. Press in once you think you have the triangle shape, and press all the way up, and then kind of flatten out that line you just made. You want to define the sides a little bit more. See how it's kind of taking on the shape we want of a lily. Okay, so once you're happy with that, you're going to glue the ends together. This is kind of tricky because you want it to be round, a round shape. So again, coaxing your paper around be the best way to get it closed. See how it's going to kind of fold into itself. And you're going to have to keep Keep shaping it, keep shaping it. Okay. And then you're gonna add your little bit of hot glue to the edge here. Be very careful when you're doing this, of course. There. And of course, with more practice, you'll get better and better at this. I would not say this is going to be the perfect looking calla, but it'll be close. Okay, so once you've glued that, you want to wrap it around your pencil here, give the end a little bit of a curl. Hold it and then release it, so you've got this kind of curled shape. And now, I think it's time to transition and make the middle part here. So we're going to set that aside, and we're going to take the other one that we had cut, and we're going to make it into a square. Now, you're going to roll, diagonally across the page. Roll, keep rolling. There. And then you're going to glue that little tip shut. Just like this. Careful not to burn yourself like I just did. And you're going to pick how high you want it. Usually they're about like in the middle here. So I would cut off this end. Check again and keep checking until you kind of figure out where you like it. So I like it right here. That's just fine. Now you're gonna make your stem. So you're gonna figure out how long you want it. You're gonna fold this over, make a little hook. And that's how you could fold it over a couple times too. That's how this is gonna stick onto here. So it should be pretty tight. It should stay on there without glue. And then you're gonna stick it through the center here. If you need to cut a hole out, you can. But you shouldn't have to. And then you're gonna choose how long you want it. Oops. And you might wanna glue right where the stem is and where it meets the flower, just so that it doesn't slide around in there later. And then you can cut it down shorter if you want it longer. I'm going to cut off just a little bit at the end here, maybe about 3 inches. And you're just going to let it dry. But this is your lily. It's got a nice shape. It's very pretty, delicate. And you can make several of them to make a bouquet and put it in a kind of vase like this one. So now we're going to move on to the rose part of this. The rose is a little bit more tricky than the lily. You're going to go back to your book though, and you're going to need 4 squares. So again, rip out your pages. Sometimes they like sticking. Alrighty. Put that aside. So you've got your 4 pages, and if you want to perfect the edges, you can before you make your square. So you could cut around the margin, and I think I'm going to do that just because they didn't come out as well as I'd like. So what you're going to do is fold 3 times. So we folded once. We're going to fold again, and then we're going to fold third time. And with this closed tip, we're gonna cut around so it makes kind of a heart shape. A little sharp there. There, so you've got a heart looking shape. If it's not down deep enough, you could also make a deeper incline. Like this. That's a little closer to what I was looking for. And you're gonna do the same exact thing with your other squares. And again, we're gonna fold 1, 2, 3. And if you want it exactly like the shape before, you're just gonna place it over, line it up by the ends, and then cut around it in the same way. Do the same thing for the next one. We already have 1 fold, 2, 3. Set it up with the other one, make sure it's on the same side. If you cut it from another angle, it will just all fall apart. So you obviously want to gather it together where it's all connected. We're going to cut off the tip. So where I said it's aligned all together, your heart shape, the bottom of your heart, you are going to make a little cut off the tip. Trying to make them all the same size, but you might just have to eyeball it. Cut, cut, cut. All right, out of the center. So now they're all cut. And now you're gonna open them up. So there we have 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna have 4 right there. Okay, so you have 4 flowers right now. What we're gonna do first is cut off 1 petal. So you're gonna cut, here you can see the kind of lines here. You're gonna cut 1 petal, so 1, cut, and then you can set it aside. You can put them both up here too. And it's best to try to keep the order because it'll get a little confusing if you push them all around. Now we're going to cut off 2 petals. So here we had 1, and here is the second one, 2. Lay them next to each other. Now we're going to cut off 3. I'm sure you're following along now. 3 petals. And then the 4th one, you guessed it, is right in half. 4 and 4. You're gonna not use one of these halves, so you can put it aside if you want, and you're just gonna be using these pieces. Your 1, 2, 3, and then all of these sections. So you're gonna start with the largest one first, which is the one where you just cut the 1 petal out, and you're basically gonna fold a full petal over itself with the hot glue gun. And this is gonna be a pretty small flower, maybe about the same size as that one, because you're using I used a pretty small book at least. And now you're gonna get your hot glue gun out. So you're gonna cover the full petal with some hot glue. Then you're gonna attach, you're gonna fold over, attach, press a little bit, and put it down. Now the next largest one, you're gonna do exactly the same thing, but you'll notice that they're getting smaller as you go. And that is exactly what you want, and it's gonna give you that nice rose look. So we're gonna put that one right into this one. Squeeze down, let it cool. Next one. Sometimes it's hard to tell which way they want to go. You can just kind of play around with it until you're ready. Because with hot glue you have to act pretty fast. press down, and then go to your next smaller one. It's gonna get kind of harder from here, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So, alright, press down. Now you've got 3. So you should still be able to kind of fold over one more time. So I'm going to do it on the outside of this petal and just fold over the other one all the way as far as I can go, and then stick my finger in between so you have like a mouth. Alright, now we only have 2, so now at this point you're just going to be doing partially overlapping. So you're going to do like kind of halfway. I know it's getting harder to see, but you're just going to do a little bit here. And this outer one. If you want to put a pencil through it, that might be helpful. To kind of make sure that it stays round. And then your last one, again, you want another, might want to pre-turn it on your finger or a pencil, because it's going to have to go around itself. Alright, so I've got plenty of hot glue, too much hot glue. Now it's all over my fingers, and it's burning. Okay. Things I do to make a paper rose. So, here we've got our middle one. So now you can see they're all lined up, and we have our biggest one, and we're basically going to put the smaller one into the bigger one. And I like to put the leaves kind of on the opposite side, so it fills it in instead of on the same exact side every time. And the best way to do this is to put some hot glue around the smaller one, and then just quickly fit it in between the bigger one. This. Oh, and if you want to, now would be a good time to do this before you put them all together, is to take a pencil or something you have and fold over each petal. Now, because these petals are so small, they're not going to have that much of a curve. You also want to make sure that they will tear if you pull too much with a pencil or a pen or whatever you're using to turn it. So just be very careful. Of course, the smaller the object, the more intense the curl will be. And you can always work on fixing your flower up when you're done too. So, all right, let's curl the rest of these really quick. That is your finished rose. If you do want to have a stem, you can just push one of these again through and make a little loop. And you can just pull that through all the way. You really can't see it once it's all the way down in there. And then, of course, for this rose, you might want it to be a little shorter so it looks a little more natural. So I cut it down pretty short, but it's still got a stem there. So now you have a calla lily and a paper rose, and of course you can make a bunch of these. You could tie them together, you can make a little bouquet out of them. Of course there are many pages in one book, so you could definitely make a bouquet. So I'm gonna wrap these around each other, of course, and there you go.
We hope you enjoyed today's craft. Most projects we demonstrate can be made in under an hour and require a few basic tools or supplies.
Have questions or suggestions for future videos? Use the comment section below and we'll add it to our list. Thanks for watching, and remember the Makerspace mantra.
The only limit is your imagination.